19 teams from across Duval County are ready to battle for academic achievement. Who will emerge victorious? Stay tuned. It's Brain Brawl in its 15th year of competition. Presented by the Duval County Public Schools. Dr. Larry L. Zinke, Superintendent. Now, here is your host, Tom Welsh.
Welcome. The Lee Generals meet the Mandarin Mustangs. Let's meet the teams. First, Lee Dunaway. Win-win. The captain, Quincy Richardson, and Jonathan Oakes. For Mandarin, Robert Schickler, Amy Fulton, Captain Jason Barrett, and Zach Vickery. Lee's team is coached by Ramsey Meade, Anathiet Durham, and Mandarin's team is coached by Mark Johnson. Our officials from the IBM Corporation are Lee Gentry, Kathy McBride, Mike Pinelli, and Pat Leatham. Also, IBM will be donating a computer to the team that wins our overall competition this year. Let's review the rules. The toss-up is worth 4 points and a bonus 10 points, but you have to answer the toss-up correctly first in order to try for the bonus. If I'm interrupted by a member of either team during the reading of a toss-up, I'll stop and ask for an answer. If that answer is incorrect, 2 points will be awarded to the opposing team's score, and that team will have the opportunity to answer the question when it's repeated. 5 seconds to answer a toss-up, 20 seconds to answer a bonus. Okay, teams, with the rules down, let's start. From what well-known song is the title of John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath taken? That's from the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Severe tropical storms are called hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean and Eastern Pacific Ocean. What are these severe tropical storms called in the Central and Western Pacific Oceans? Jason.
Monsoons?
No, that's incorrect. Does Lee have an answer? Jonathan.
Tsunamis.
Typhoon is what we're looking for. Toss up. What narrow strip of land in southeastern France contains the cities of Cannes, Monte Carlo, and Nice? Jason.
The Riviera.
That's the Riviera, right. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. First, what are cancer-causing agents called? And second, what are cancer-causing genes called? For 4 points each or 10 points for both, what are cancer-causing agents called? And what are cancer-causing genes called?
Number one's carcinogens. No answer for the second.
Oncogenes for the second one, but carcinogens is correct for 4 points. You'll need your pencils for this toss-up. What are the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment that is drawn from the point 3,5 to the point 913? Time's up. The point is 6,9. Another toss-up. Which of the Greek gods is associated with the symbols of a winged cap and sandal? Jason.
Mercury.
No, that's incorrect, and a 2-point penalty. Jonathan?
Hermes.
Hermes is correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. What two rulers unified Spain by their marriage in 1469? For 4 points each or 10 points for both, what two rulers unified Spain by their marriage in 1469?
Ferdinand and Isabella.
Correct. Toss up. When an object is going in a circular path at a constant speed, what is the direction of its acceleration? Robert.
It's a straight line.
No, that's incorrect. Does Lee have an answer? Quincy.
Toward the center.
Towards the center, right. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. Find an angle between 0 and -2 pi that is coterminal with the following. First, 3 pi over 2, and second, 17 pi over 11. For 4 points each or 10 points for both, find an angle between 0 and -2 pi that is coterminal with the following. First, 3 pi over 2, and second, 17 pi over 11.
Number 1, 270. Number 2, 180.
We were looking for radian measures. The first is -pi over 2, second at -5 pi over 11 for no points. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen was a favorite saying of what U.S. president? Jonathan.
Teddy Roosevelt.
No, that's incorrect. Mandarin. Robert.
Jefferson?
Nope. Harry Truman. You need your pencils for this toss-up. What is the solution set to the equation 4 plus the absolute value of the quantity 3x plus 7 equals 0? That's a trick question. It's the null set because that 3x plus 7 would have to be a negative number. Okay, another toss-up. Name the French Impressionist painter whose works include Umbrellas, The Bathers, and The Theater Box. Jason.
Monet.
No, that's incorrect. Do the generals have an answer? Quincy?
Cezanne?
Auguste Renoir. What Greek historian is often called the father of history? Jason?
Herodotus.
That's the answer. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify the following literary terms. The first is originally a Scandinavian or Icelandic prose narrative of the Middle Ages about the life and exploits of a great king or warrior. The second is a book-length fictional prose narrative having many characters and often a complete plot. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, identify the following literary terms. The first is originally a Scandinavian or Icelandic prose narrative of the Middle Ages about the life and exploits of a great king or warrior. The second is a book-length fictional prose narrative having many characters and often a complete plot.
We have epic for both.
Saga for the first and novel for the second for no points. What is the chemical bond called in which one atom gives up an electron to another? Jason.
Ionic.
That's correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. What force resists the relative motion or tendency to such motion of two bodies in contact? And second, what is the rate called at which work is done? For 4 points for each, 10 points for both. First, what force resists the relative motion or tendency to such motion of two bodies in contact? And second, what is the rate called at which work is done?
Number one's fiction, number two's power.
That's correct. 10 points, toss up. Plains Indians used a kind of land sledge with one end supported by a draft animal. What is this device known as? Amy.
The plow?
No, that's incorrect. Lee High School. That's a travois. Travois. Toss up, you need your pencils. What is the length of the diagonal of a square that has sides of length radical 6? Quincy.
Radical 3?
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify these basic land forms. The first is a narrow body of water extending from the sea between steep cliffs, and the second is a small sheltered bay, sometimes called a lagoon or inlet. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify these basic land forms. The first is a narrow body of water extending from the sea between steep cliffs. The second is a small sheltered bay, sometimes called a lagoon or inlet.
Number one, isthmus. Number two, gulf.
Fjord for the first and cove for the second for no points. What name is given to a traditional story, usually concerning some superhuman being or unlikely event that was once widely believed to be... Jason.
Folktale.
No, that's incorrect, and a 2-point penalty. I'll repeat the question for Lee. What name is given to a traditional story, usually concerning some superhuman being or unlikely event that was once widely believed to be true? Quincy.
Tall tale.
A myth. Toss up. To what kingdom do the divisions Pterophita and Ginkgophita belong? Jonathan.
Animalia.
No, that's incorrect. Mandarin. Jason.
Amphibians.
Plantae. In what Asian country did the Pahlavi family reign from 1925 until 1979? Zach.
India.
No, that's incorrect. Lee High School. Jonathan.
Russia.
That was the Shah of Iran. You need your pencils. What is the smallest integer that satisfies the inequality 5x plus 9 is greater than 1? The answer is -1. Who wrote the song Yankee Doodle Dandy? Jason.
Cornwallis.
No, that's incorrect. Lee High School. George M. Cohan. What poet wrote the following lines to his dying father? Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Lee?
Crane?
No, that's incorrect. Mandarin? Dylan Thomas. What is the process of heating water to a vapor and then cooling it to make purer water? Jason?
Distillation.
That's it. The bonus is worth 10 points. Give the complete factorization of x cubed plus y cubed minus x squared minus y. Let me start that over. Give the complete factorization of x cubed plus y cubed minus x squared y minus xy squared. Give the complete factorization of x cubed plus y cubed minus x squared y minus xy squared. You ran out of time. That's the quantity x plus y times the quantity x minus y times the quantity x minus y for no points. That's the end of the first round. Let's meet some folks from Lee High School. First, we have Lee Dunaway. Lee's a senior, editor of the school paper and a member of the Latin Club. This is her second year on Brain Brawl. She plans on attending the University of Florida. Win-Win is a senior, and she also plans on attending the University of Florida. The team captain is Quincy Richardson. Quincy's a junior. He's president of the Bible Club and serving his third year on Brain Brawl. He plans to attend the University of North Florida. And finally, Jonathan Oakes. Jonathan's a junior, a member of the Latin Club and FBLA. This is his third year of Brain Brawl competition, and he has plans to attend Georgia Tech. Those are the team members from Lee High School. Let's take a look at the score. Lee has 26 points, Mandarin has 30 points, a close match. Mandarin has elected to substitute, and Jeff Rivera has joined his team. The rules for round two remain the same. Good luck, folks. Let's continue. What's the capital city of Iran? Zach?
Tehran.
Correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. By what other name are the stories of the Arabian Nights sometimes called? And second, what legendary queen supposedly told these stories to her husband? For 4 points each, or 10 points for both. By what other name are the stories of the Arabian Nights sometimes called? And what legendary queen supposedly told these stories to her husband?
How's it go? Number 2, Scheherazade. 1001 Arabian Nights.
Judge? Yes. And Scheherazade is also correct for 10 points. You'll need your pencils for this toss-up. Given a horizontal number line, point A has coordinate -3 and point B has coordinate 1. What is the coordinate of the point to the left of A that is twice as far from B as it is from A? Time's up. The answer is -7. That's kind of hard in 5 seconds. Toss up. In what country did the events depicted in the Diary of Anne Frank take place? Jason?
Germany.
No, that's incorrect, and a 2-point penalty. For Lee, in what country did the events depicted in the Diary of Anne Frank take place? Jonathan?
Holland.
Holland or the Netherlands, right? We can accept, yes, we'll accept that. The bonus is worth 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Identify the composer of each of the following. First is the New World Symphony. Second, Petrushka. Third, Messiah. And fourth, Don Giovanni. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4, identify the composer of each of the following. The New World Symphony, Petrushka, Messiah, Don Giovanni.
Number 1, Dvorak. Number 2, Stravinsky. Number 3, Handel. And number 4, Mozart.
10 points. Toss up. What name is given to the branch of biology that deals with the classification of organisms? Jonathan? Yes. The bonus is worth 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Give the formula for the following manufactured chemicals. First, hydrochloric acid. Second, propylene. Third, phosphoric acid. And fourth, ethylene. For 2 points each or 10 points for all four, give the formula for the following manufactured chemicals: hydrochloric acid, propylene, phosphoric acid, and ethylene.
Number 1, HCl. No answer for the other 3.
Okay. The second is C3H6, the third H3PO4, and the fourth C2H4, but HCl is correct for hydrochloric acid, and that earns 2 points. Toss up. Who was the Catholic extremist who failed in an attempt to kill King James I and blow up the Parliament in the gunpowder? Zach.
Guy Fawkes?
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. What name was given to the following acts of the British Parliament from 1763 to 1775? In the first, in 1765, the act to pay for British troops in the colonies. The second, in 1767, the act to raise more money from colonial imports. For 4 points each or 10 points for both, what name was given to the following acts of the British Parliament from 1763 to 1775? First, in 1765, the act to pay for British troops in the colonies. And second, in 1767, the act to raise more money from colonial imports.
Number 1's the Quartering Act. Number 2's the Stamp Tax.
Actually, the first is the Stamp Act, and the second is the Townshend Act for no points. You need your pencils for this toss-up. Find the largest of 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 102. Time's up. The answer is 35. Toss up. What term refers to an artist who works in a new style that breaks with tradition? Lee?
Avant-garde?
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. How many sides does a regular polygon have if each angle measures as follows? The first example, 165 degrees, and the second, 144 degrees. For 4 points each or 10 points for both, how many sides does a regular polygon have if each angle measures as follows? 165 degrees, 144 degrees.
Number 1, 5, and number 2, 4.
24 and 10 for no points. I don't think you were very convinced with your answer anyway. Toss up. From what poem do these lines come? Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why. Quincy.
Charge of the Light Brigade.
That's it. The bonus is worth 2 points each or 10 points for all four. Who wrote the following lines? First, on the 18th of April in 75. Second, oh, to be in England now that April's there. Third, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. And finally, April is the cruelest month. For 2 points each or 10 points for all four, who wrote the following lines? On the 18th of April in 75. Oh, to be in England now that April's there. Their flag to April's breeze unfurled. April is the cruelest month.
Shakespeare for all 4.
No, Longfellow for the first, then Browning, Emerson, and T.S. Eliot for no points. What term is defined as innate behavior involving a set of complicated responses to a stimulus? Jonathan?
Habit.
No, that's incorrect. Mandarin. Jason?
Instinct.
Instinct is what we're looking for. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. What is the result of multiplying the average value of a force by the time during which it acts? And second, what measure of the motion of a body is equal to the product of its mass and velocity? For 4 points each or 10 points for both. First, what is the result of multiplying the average value of a force by the time during which it acts? And second, what measure of the motion of a body is equal to the product of its mass and velocity?
Number 2's momentum. Number 1's net force.
Number 1 is impulse, but momentum will get you 4 points. General Charles de Gaulle was head of state for what country? Jason?
France.
Correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. First, who was the leader of the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution of 1917? And second, whose regime was overthrown by the Bolsheviks in 1917? For 4 points each or 10 points for both, who was the leader of the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution of 1917? and whose regime was overthrown by the Bolsheviks in 1917?
Number one's Lenin. Number two's Tsar Nicholas II.
No, there was a government in between, the Kerensky government, but Lenin is correct for 4 points. Toss up, you need your pencils. The shortest sides of two similar pentagons are 6 inches and 9 inches respectively. If the area of the smaller pentagon is 24 square inches, find the area of the larger pentagon. And now the bell beat you, and that's 54. Toss up. Who speaks the following lines in the play Julius Caesar? The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underling. Robert.
Cassius.
That's correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Simplify the following. First, 5 times the square root of 54. And second, the fourth root of 112. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, simplify the following. 5 times the square root of 54 and the fourth root of 112.
Number one's 15 radical 6. Number two's 7 radical 16. That's not right.
2 times the fourth root is 7 for the second one, but the first one is correct for 4 points. Another toss-up. What is a measure of the relative strength with which the atoms of one element attract shared electrons in a chemical bond? Jason.
Electronegativity.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Most people know that the line, "Give me you're tired, you're poor," is written on the Statue of Liberty. First, what is the name of this poem? And second, who was the author? For 4 points each, or 10 points for both.
Number one's the New Colossus. Number two's Emma Lazarus.
That's correct for 10 points. Before we look at the scores, let's meet the folks from Mandarin High School. First, we have Robert Schickler. Robert's a senior, an avid sports fan, especially for the Chicago Bulls. He's interested in science and aspires to become a chemical engineer after graduating from the University of Florida, and Robert also can't wait to graduate. Jeffrey Verzera. Jeffrey enjoys reading novels and writing science fiction fantasy novels. He studies the history of the Middle Ages. In his spare time, Jeffrey programs computers. Team captain's Jason Barrett. Jason is a junior interested in ancient history. He enjoys playing basketball and listening to alternative music. Jason plans to attend the University of Florida, majoring in history, and then become active in politics and the government. And finally, Zach Vickery. Zach enjoys tennis and baseball. His favorite subjects are science and government. Zach plans to attend college and have a career in the science field, perhaps in chemistry. And those are the players for Mandarin High School. Now let's check that score. Lee has 56 points and Mandarin has 86 points. Once again, Mandarin has elected to substitute and Amy has rejoined the team. The lightning round now is a series of toss-up questions worth 4 points if answered correctly and 4 points for the opposing team if answered incorrectly. This lightning round will last 2 minutes or 25 questions. Whichever comes first, here we go. What kind of energy appears in the form of motion? Zach.
Kinetic energy?
Yes. What is the capital of Ukraine? Cancel, please. What is the capital of Ukraine? Zach.
Kiev.
Correct. What quadrilateral is a parallelogram with all 4 sides congruent? Quincy.
Rhombus.
Yes. Identify the American dramatist who wrote Death of a Salesman. Jason.
Arthur Miller.
Yes. What is the most abundant of all metals in the Earth's crust? Zach.
Silicon.
No, aluminum. What was the first Latin American country to gain its independence? Haiti. What is the probability in a family of 3 children that all the children will be boys? 1 in 8. Who created the characters Uriah Heep, Mr. Micawber? Jonathan.
Dickens.
Correct. What organ in the digestive tract of birds is specialized for grinding food? Jonathan?
Gizzard.
Yes. On what large island are lemurs found? Lee?
Madagascar?
Yes. Give the Roman numeral for 2001. Zach?
MMI.
Judge? Yes. In Greek mythology, what was the capital of Attica? Athens. Which of Saturn's moons is larger than the planet Mercury? Zach?
Titan.
Yes. What name is given to social scientists who study human culture and its development? Quincy?
Archaeologist.
No, anthropologist. Name the theorem that is used to raise the quantity x plus y to the nth power. That is the binomial theorem. Who was the famous lover of Dulcinea del Toboso? Jason.
Don Quixote.
Yes. What do we call a group of tissues that work together? Quincy.
Muscle.
No, organ. Who was the temporal ruler of the Papal States? Jonathan.
Pope.
Yes. What is the radius? And that's the end of our lightning round. Let's take a look at the final score. Lee has 84 points. Mandarin Mustangs have 114 points, and so Mandarin wins this competition. In Brain Brawl, a team stays in competition till it's lost twice. So we'll be seeing Mandarin again in future rounds, and we congratulate Lee on a job well done as they retire. This is Tom Welsh. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again next time on Brain Brawl. In the meantime, remember, in Duval County, education is a family affair.